Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. Sorry I'm running a little bit late. It has again been a long, hectic day. Um, just sort of in and say hi and let you guys know what's been happening today. So obviously Melbourne's still in a hard lockdown for the community flats, commission housing, public housing, which is out at Flemington and North Melbourne. It's sort of taking precedence over everything else that we're doing within our groups and our pages. And the reason for that is that it's news that's happening right now. And we, as a community, as Melburnians, as Victorians, as Australians, need to make a stand now because it's our most vulnerable people. And, the big thing with that is that we need to realize that all of us have commonality. All of us have commonality because as much as these people are our most vulnerable people out in these community houses, they're also people who work in our restaurants, people who work in our streets, people who students, mothers, grandfathers, grandmothers. They're just regular community members like all of us. And all of them are stuck. They can't get out of where they're at. They are struggling to communicate to the outside world. All they're seeing at the moment is the walls that are around them. And it's disturbing to see. And the interesting thing that I found today, and I'm going to try and be really positive and upbeat, but it is a bit hard after things that have transpired today. For me, I'm all about equality across all people, including the police, the workers on the ground there, nurses, doctors. Everyone has a place, and everyone should be treated with dignity and respect. Now, part of this dignity and respect is that it goes in every direction. It's not one way to the other way. It's not done through blackmailing. It's not done through duress or coercion. Respect is given both ways as a starting point. It's not earned. You don't have to do the right thing by someone to gain their respect. Respect should be there at the start. Now, my concern with what happened today and what transpired was I was speaking with a police liaison from this morning, trying to do the right thing by the community, by the police, by everyone that's there. And what happened today was, I would say, pretty appalling. Speaking to the police so basically we had people turn up. We didn't have a big crowd there, but at least we had 20 to 30 people at different times of the day standing and waving up to the people in the housing estates. The police turned up in huge numbers thinking there was going to be a big unlawful protest. We're there to support people. And you're talking about lockdown directives, not laws, lockdown directives, and the fact that people were not following their directives. Now, I call that baloney because you liaised with me and asked us to put people in groups of 10. So we had people standing in groups of 10, holding signage, standing there united for these people that have no voice right now. And the people that were standing there united were the most peaceful people that I know, again, as it's been in the past, as it's been every time in any of these things that have happened over the last couple of months. Now, if you're trying to save face because of a directive, you're going about it the wrong way because these people were standing apart in their groups of 10, peacefully being a voice for people that are vulnerable, scared, and alone. So you promised us that there would be no arrests today, and then you broke your word and you arrested people. And for me, I'm a person who's about trust and honesty and love and peacefulness and all of us working together. And that has made me question, do you need to continue to come in from a place of love and peace and kindness? Well, yes, I'm not going to change how I am because you guys don't work in the right way, because I know there's good people in the police force. I know there's good people in every industry. And a couple of people doing the wrong thing isn't going to make me change the way that I work. Now, the thing I want to put out there to the people that are out inside these commission flats is to remain peaceful as well. Now, they can't hold you in there forever. Obviously, they want people to get tested because they need to get their numbers up. It's all part of what's happening here with this lockdown and everything else. Now, the biggest concern with this test is the amount of false positives that are coming through. There is a lot, and we're seeing it worldwide. The evidence isn't there that this test is made to actually specifically look at SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19 or whatever you want to call it. This test isn't specifically for that. So it makes sense that the people are apprehensive to take the test because, number one, they're not getting informed. Over the speakers, and I've said this a few days in a row, English, people speaking English and telling these people that they'll be locked down for 5 days. And, if you do the test, we'll move you and get things happening quicker. The true narrative is that they're locked down for 14 days, no matter what, because they've been around people who are sick. So if you realize that the people that are getting locked down are healthy people and sick people, they're still going to lock you down for 14 days no matter what. Now, they're saying that if you do not get tested, you get another 10 days on top of that. I don't know that that's legal or lawful. We have our legal teams looking at this now. If we don't do anything during this lockdown, after the lockdown is finished, there's a class action that's coming your way because this is against human rights. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a list of human rights things that are being broken up here. And my gut feeling is that this will be a big class action and we're going to be seeing maybe some heads roll because of it. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk and touch on, so some positive stuff. Now, these workers that are working out the back here, so I went out to the community centre today. Again, and I need to let you guys know, the paperwork I dropped off yesterday was still sitting exactly in the same spot. It hadn't been handed out. So Chantel, who's been working tirelessly on this, and it is exhausting and it is an emotional place to be when you're seeing people waving out of their windows. We're not in that lockdown, so we don't know what emotions they're feeling in there. But it's emotional for the people on the outside too, the families and the friends that we're seeing day in, day out, bringing food, bringing love, bringing peace, bringing honesty. They're amazing, amazing people. Now, we got Chantel. She ran off and got more paperwork printed, another 1,000 copies. We have people translating this so that it can be in every language possible for the people inside so they know their legal rights and they understand what's happening with this lockdown, because there has been some smoke and mirrors. So the smoke and mirrors have meant that people are not aware of how long they're going to be locked down or what their legal rights are. And the thing I was mentioning earlier is because people don't know their legal rights, they're getting coerced towards doing COVID testing. They're getting coerced into a lot of things that they're not aware of at the moment and what their rights are. So we're getting that paperwork into as many people as possible. We now have lots of great friends that we've met within the communities of these housing estates. I've met people that I spoke to who are on the same level, have the same understanding. They may be vulnerable people, but these people are amazing, loving, caring families. A lot of Muslim families there, a lot of immigrants there, a lot of lots of people from very diverse backgrounds and some really, really intelligent people that know exactly what's going on here. And they're passing around all the information so everyone knows. I'm getting asked here, is anyone getting AusPost? The mail is going through. So it's going through the community centre. So people are getting their money through. And they won't let a mum get to a newborn baby who is in hospital and needs her breast milk. I've heard that as well. And I brought these things up with the community centre too, that people need to be able to get the basics. Basics need to be going through to people. So there's a big human rights push. And part of what I'm doing now, I want people to spread this around and share it, because people need to know that if the legal teams, we need legal liaisons in the middle, because we've got police here, we've got the community centre trying to help and disperse food as a priority, and then we've got police, and then we've got DHHS, which are both government institutions, but they're not communicating across. So there's been instances where, say, yesterday, the SES had to take away bags of food because there wasn't the right communication of how that food got in. Then the bags came back and got distributed after that. So what's happening is people are not communicating amongst themselves. And there needs to be a coordinator. Someone has to be there to try and coordinate these people, because in the end, a lot of the times it's people like myself and other people that are there saying, well, why don't you do it this way? Helping people and directing them in the right places. The good thing with the talking in the community centre is that they are allowing myself and a few other people to be there and help be a bit of a liaison between. But I'm calling on legal liaisons to get down there. It's not good enough, and it's a weak thing to do. I think, again, I've used the word weak a few times in the last 3 days. Those community liaisons and those legal liaisons that are saying I can't get down there because of lockdown need to realize this is the harshest lockdown ever in Australia, if not around the world, apart from the ones that happen in China. These people, these vulnerable people, need liaisons to come down. They need legal liaisons to come down and speak between them and the police and other people, so they know their rights and they know what can happen and how they can be looked after. Now, within the talking to the community people, we have negotiated, hopefully, to get a 20 by 20 space outdoors where people can go out and breathe the air. This is particularly important for kids, and for me, it's particularly important for older people as well, because they can't be outside at the moment. And the problem with them not being outside is the air in these places is getting recirculated, and bad air lowers your immunity, which gives you more options to get sick as well. If we're looking after people and we're saying this is a scary, horrible disease, we need to look after their health 100%. Now, the new lockdown laws, stage 3, going out Melbourne-wide, I mean, the fact that they're happening right now when these people want community around them is a little bit of a concern to me. I would suggest people not heading down there unless they're going there for a particular reason. Compassionate reasons, from what I've heard, are okay, but you can't be going down there for just supporting people, I wouldn't think, unless you're family. But caregiving is one of the reasons, and I would think caregiving includes walking past and giving a wave to these people. The biggest thing that I'm seeing as well, and another thing that's a concern, is in the news today, they talked about the fact that they might try and relocate these people from the building. That's what they're getting told by scientists. But it feels like this is really a targeted thing, and it is preying on the most vulnerable people. And it's happened in other countries. And the problem with this is that when you see what's happening here, and they're preying on the most vulnerable people, if people haven't stood up, at least today people stood up. Because when you stand up and make noise, it stops them from being able to do this everywhere, because this is a precedence for it happening everywhere. Stage 3 lockdown, if they start finding more and more COVID cases, what's to say to you that they're not going to do a hard lockdown in your house? Another thing that came out in the news today, and you might want to look it up, is police raids are going to happen in Dandenong, taking weapons out of people's houses. The police are giving themselves the rules and the laws to go into people's houses and pat them down and check for weapons, whether they know they've got them or not. It feels to me like these laws, these COVID laws, and the police state is a little bit out of control. But again, I want to go down a positive path, because for me and for what I'm trying to do here, it's all about positivity. We need to know that all of us can come from a positive place. I need to say to anyone in these commission houses, if you're feeling like no one's with you, we are all with you. Everyone's with you. Whether it's people saying stupid things on Facebook or people saying, giving love and everything else, everyone is with you and wants you to be safe and healthy. Some just don't understand how this is all working because they haven't been there. They haven't seen the people looking out the windows. They can't comprehend due to the cognitive dissonance, watching TV and being stuck here. Their mind frame is the best thing possible is to lock you in your rooms. Now, the best thing possible, if people are sick, is perhaps to have a lockdown that happens, but where they can go outside into their community area and then head back inside. That's what we're pushing for tomorrow. We've left it with the guys to talk about tonight. We'll be back there tomorrow pushing for this harder than ever before. Now, what I want you guys all to do is overnight tonight and into tomorrow, be as positive as possible because they're trying to break people. There's a lot of psychological stuff happening here as well. The narrative keeps on changing and people have gone through lockdown and they're going back into it. Now, when you start worrying about what lockdown is for you and how sad you're feeling, remember, take a moment and think about these people that have been stuck in here now for 3 to 4 days and realize there are people worse off than you. There's always someone worse off. And stage 3 lockdowns, you can still do exercise. You can still go to work if you have to. You can still do these things and go grocery shopping. These people in these flats, they can't do any of that. So instead of feeling sorry for yourselves over the next 24 hours, think about those people. And if you're religious or if you're not, stop for a moment, go into your gut, see what that feeling tells you. And that feeling should tell you that this is not right. It goes against all the human rights acts that are out there. And realize that you have the power to give love and vibrate at a really high level because you can give so much more than what you know you can, because all of us vibrating at a much higher level for these people is going to give them a lot more hope. Start writing messages of hope and messages of love and amazing and strong things for these people, because you can all make a big change to your life and to their life by standing up together. Do not let any divisions happen because of lower socioeconomics. Don't let divisions happen because they're vulnerable and you're not. Don't let divisions happen because you're now going into stage 3 lockdown and it's all about me, me, me. Be open to care and love about everyone on the outside, everyone around you, because this could be your family members, this could be your loved ones, this could be people in your communities as well. It doesn't take much for this to change and become you. All of you guys can make a huge difference to the world with this positive outlook. And I feel like you need to realize at some stage, sorry, I just lost the screen. At some stage, you need to realize at some stage, all of us have been, not all of us, not our Indigenous, but a lot of us have been immigrants into a country. A lot of us have been vulnerable. Think of those times when you've gone through a hard time, the hardest time in your life, and have compassion for these people because they need this compassion from you right now. And they're amazing people and they're so strong. And so many of them are still waving out the windows with love. They're giving thanks to everyone for helping them. We need to realize that all of us can step up. There are mental health teams there and CAT teams. That's who I was going to give a shout out to. SES is there to help people. There are mental health teams there as well. There are teams there. So people who think there's nothing there at all, there are teams there. The only problem is the coordination of these teams. And that's why we need people like ourselves to be there on the floor to make sure that things are happening for these people. Because if we're not keeping them honest, we won't know that it's all happening. Again, there are drug and alcohol services there too. So the biggest problem with this lockdown is not that there's not volunteers and people there. There are people there trying to help. There are a lot of people there trying to help. But the fact that the two government bodies, the police and DHHS, have separate orders and separate rules, they're not working together. The problem that then causes is people get angry and incensed, and we don't want people rioting. The worst thing you can possibly do is riot, because if you start rioting and doing the wrong things, they're going to clamp down harder because they take that as an invite to do whatever the hell they want. Come from a good place and come from a place of love and be amazing, amazing, strong people. We have lawyers working in the background. We have a class action getting put underway again. A lady named Serena is doing heaps for it, heaps and heaps. Peter Little's on the case as well, and he's like a little ferret. He will not stop until he has justice prevail. There are people doing as much as they possibly can, and we're going to be there trying to encourage better support and better communication between these people. And if we're out there as community liaisons trying to make a difference, we can really make this change and flip. Be positive. Don't ask negative questions. Don't say, how can people do this? What can we do? Do something, because your actions make a huge difference to this. Share this and tell people to give love and hope to these people, because they're watching. They're watching from inside, particularly the younger ones on their social media. And they're seeing people saying these derogatory things. But we need to rise up together and be strong. You can make a huge difference here. So all of you can step up and make a huge difference here. So that's what I suggest people do. And it's about making a huge difference for these people. And we can all do it. Okay. So keep loving each other, spread as much happiness and love and joy as you can. We'll be there again tomorrow. We need to do whatever we can to help these people, because, if we don't think properly, then this will be everything's going to go the wrong way. Okay. Peace and love to all of you.